What's up, guys? I'm Don Smith, and this is What's Cooking Neighbor. And as always, I'm going to take your taste buds on a culinary journey. And today we're doing seafood. I'm a big lover of seafood. So what we're going to do today is a sauteed mussel and cod in a pesto broth, and we're going to put that over linguine. That sounds sophisticated and exquisite and all that, but actually it's really easy to do, and there's not a lot of ingredients. But first, we have our water over here, and it's waiting for us for our linguine. And what we're going to do right here is add some kosher salt to that and let that go. And we're going to add our linguine. We also have some mussels, some cod, some onions, parsley, pesto. And let's just get our linguine in there. Now this is an Italian linguine. Just get that in our water and let that go. Now our mussels. If you can go anywhere and get fresh seafood, that is always the way to go. But if you can't, we have in Kroger's and Walmart, they're starting to get some very good product there. Now this is a private selection, and this is a white wine garlic mussel. It's already cooked, and basically what you do is put it into your skillet and it basically cooks itself. And we also have two beautiful pieces of cod right here. Now we're gonna season that up with some crushed black pepper and a little kosher salt. And we're gonna pan over here and let that heat up. While that's heating up, we have a small red onion. And we're gonna get a quick dice on our onion. And you know the basically way we usually do this, just come down, slice it like so, and give it a nice little quick chop, and you get beautiful little dices. Now just then we're just going to set this to the side right here. Now while that's heating up, we're going to come over here and open up our mussel. Now if you like clams, if you like oysters, all this can be easily substituted. But what I like about this is the mussels are already cooked, and you don't have to worry about wondering if it's done, if it's not done, and all that. And it comes in a beautiful wine sauce with some garlic and other stuff in that. Then we're gonna add a touch of butter to our pan over here and let that go. We also have a little bit of coconut oil, and we're gonna add just some of that to go along. And coconut oil is just going to add an extra little flavor, extra little bite to it, something in the background. Cut this down to almost about medium, a little medium high. Stir our linguine. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to saute our cod. Beautiful fillets. We're going to put the seasoned side down first, and then we're going to come over and season the other side. Cracked black pepper and a little bit of kosher salt. And we're going to saute that. And once we get that going, we're going to take our cod out. We're going to put our mussels in. But before we put our mussels in, we're gonna saute our onions. Cut this back up just a little bit. Now this is going to cook in the broth again, so you don't have to thoroughly cook that all the way through, because it's gonna go back in and it will finish cooking. Then we want to try to get a little bit of color on this, so I cut it back up. And keep an eye on our linguine, make sure it doesn't spill over. And start a massive fire as I usually do with the fire alarm going off. Now this is one of those dishes, if you can get yourself to a fish place or fish where they sell seafood, it's always great to have fresh cod or fresh mussels, or if you're going to go for clams or oysters or anything like that, it's always great to have fresh, because fresh is better. But if you can't find fresh, these products like this are very good. And I always suggest you go to the store, you buy different products and you try them at home and find out what's good for you and what you like, and then you can incorporate that into your repertoire. Word of the day. We're gonna flip this. Try not to break it up. Just get a little bit of brown color on it. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna get the cod out, the mussels in, linguine's done, and we're gonna have a beautiful, beautiful seafood dish. We'll be right back.
A champion doesn't get days off. It takes determination and drive to realize goals. From long nights to early mornings. From the courts to the classrooms to online. At Campbellsville University, this is why we play. This is how we learn. This is where champions are made. Find your calling for a life change at campbellsville.edu.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to What's Cooking Neighbor. I'm Don Smith. If you're just joining us, we are putting on a beautiful seafood dish. We got our cod right here, and we're about to take our cod out. We got our linguine going, so it'll be waiting for us instead of us waiting for it. Then we're just gonna take our cod out. Now remember, this cod is gonna go back in, it's gonna cook in our broth, so if it's not fully cooked all the way through, don't get scared, don't call the fish police, because it will cook through once we have the broth there. Now what we're gonna do is bring our cutting board over, and we're gonna quickly saute some onions. If you have shallots or green onions or regular sweet onion, totally fine, totally perfect. Then we're gonna cut this down just a tad bit. We're gonna hit this with some kosher salt because we want this to sweat out and not burn on us. And you can see where we cooked that fish, we have the beautiful fond in the bottom of that. And if you don't know what fond is, that is flavor. When you cook something and all those nice little sticky bits get in the bottom of your pan, we call that fond. And once we get that up, it's gonna add all kind of tremendous flavor to your dish. So our onion is quickly sauteed just right where we want them to. Now, we're gonna add just another little dab it of butter in this. And now it's time for our mussels. That smells beautiful. The garlic and the wine sauce already in there. And there's other herbs and different stuff in there. So now, as you can see where that wine sauce was in there, now we're pulling up all that fond and all that nice stuff, brown bits in the bottom, add just the extra layer of flavor into this. Just give those a quick stir. Melting that butter into that. No, I love mussels. A lot of people don't like mussels. So like I said, you can substitute clams for this. If you like oysters, you can substitute oysters in this. Or you can omit it altogether, and then you can just have your cod with a pesto sauce over it. Come back here to our linguines that was starting to spill over. Can't let that happen. Give it a little stir. Let it all calm down in there. Now remember, when you're cooking pasta, you always want to cook your pasta al dente, and that is right before it's done. You pull it back about 1 or 2 minutes before it be done. You want a nice little bite to it, but it's done, because it's going to also cook once you put the sauce and stuff on there. It's going to cook a little bit longer. So pull it back a couple of minutes before it's fully cooked, and it will continue to be perfectly cooked once you put your sauce over top of it. We're also, once we get our pesto going, we're going to put a little bit of heavy cream in there to help bring out the brothiness of the dish, along with the wine that's already in there. And of course, if you do this at home with fresh stuff, you can also go to wherever you buy wine at and get a nice bottle of wine. Don't go to the store and get that cooking wine. Get the greatest bottle, $7 bottle of wine that you can get, instead of going to the store and getting that cooking wine, because cooking wine there's no such thing as cooking wine. It's sold in grocery stores. It's awful. Now, trying to get a little bit of that liquid all over the mussels, so all these flavors can start to come together and hang out and get to know each other. We're going to test our linguine, see if it's done or not. They all don't just go flying off, which it did. A couple more minutes and our linguine will be perfectly al dente, right where we want it. And you got that nice salty ocean flavor in the water. The perfect way to flavor any pasta that you cook. Get back in there. We'll also have some parsley that at the end of this we're going to put over our dish. Make sure your fingers are out of the way and just give these a little mince, a little chop. I'm gonna set that to the side, so it can be hanging out waiting for us. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. And I'm gonna get a strainer so we can empty our pasta. Let it hang out in the sink. Our pasta is just about done. You know what we're going to come to? What we're going to do now, we're going to add our fish back into the pan. We're going to drain our pasta, and when we come back, this is going to be almost done. We're going to put it together. We're going to taste it. So please don't go anywhere. Stay with us right here on What's Cooking Neighbor Seafood Dish. We'll be right back.
Busy days? busy night. When is your time? Campbellsville University has the online degree for you. Your time is now. DiscoverCUOnline.com.
What's up, guys? I'm Don Smith, and this is What's Cooking Neighbors. And I hope you're not just joining us. I hope you've been with us this whole show because we have sauteed mussels, cod, in a pesto broth going over linguine, a beautiful dish, a beautiful seafood dish. Now, our mussels is good. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to drain our linguine. Get all the liquid off of that. I'll just let that hang out there. Our mussels is done. Then we're going to add our cod back into here. Make a little room, guys. We have some more people coming to the party. Our cod goes back in, and that accumulated juices, you always want to put that back in there because that's flavor that we don't want to get rid of. And now for the pesto part of the party. We're going to cut this back up just a tad bit. And now our pesto is going to go in. And as always, if you can make your own pesto, that is always the best way to go. But if you can't, like I said, there are so many different kind of pestos out there that you can buy. So go sample, try all kind of different ones and find out what you like and what works for you, and then always go with that. But if you can, at least try to make your own pesto at least once. It's not that hard to do, and it's very, very delicious. As we letting that come back up to a boil, if you see any broken shells like this one, discard it, get rid of it. You really don't need it. Or some that the mussels fell out of, you can get rid of that also. And now we're going to add our little bit of whipping cream to this. It's going to make it more rich and full-bodied. You can also add chicken stock to this or water if you like. And you can smell that pesto in here right now with that cream and that wine sauce, and all these flavors are starting to come together, getting to know each other, having a little fun in a pesto pool of love. Now our cod is also finishing cooking all the way through. I told you if you didn't cook it all the way through last time on the first initial saute, don't worry about it because it's going back in and it will fully cook through that. And it's also going to soak up that pesto brothy flavor, and then all that is going to infuse into our cod with the wine sauce and the garlic and the onions. I'm going to cut this down just a little bit. And we're going to flip our cod to make sure both sides gets that lovely, lovely flavor. And guys, this is coming to a head. It's almost done. Now at this point right here, we're going to add some of our Italian flat leaf parsley to this. I love Italian flat leaf parsley. Much better than the curly parsley. for me, the flavor is much more intense and beautiful. And you can start to smell it already once it hit the heat. And you can see our broth is starting to thicken up. If it gets a little too thick, you can add a little chicken stock or a little water to that, totally up to you. But I do like it kind of thick because it coats the linguine better, it sticks to the linguine better, gives it a much more beautiful presentation for me. It's a couple more minutes, guys, and that will be done. We're gonna let that go, do a little cleanup. Whoa. Of course, you know me, I'm a very messy cooker. Now, right here, what we're gonna do with our linguine, perfectly right in the middle of our dish. Come on, guys, come join us. Give it a couple little shakes there. Get some of that sauce on top of our cod. We're just gonna come over. Get a piece of our cod. Just gonna lay that on top. And then we're gonna get some of these delicious mussels. Just plate that as well and get a little bit of that broth. And put it on our linguine. And then we're gonna come over there and then we're gonna hit this with a little more of our flat leaf parsley, and there it is, guys. That is sauteed mussels and cod in a pesto broth over linguine. Look at that, guys. That was easy and it was relatively cheap. The mussels and the wine sauce, you can get them at Kroger's. That's under $5, which is much, much less than you probably would pay if you go to somewhere to buy fresh mussels. And the cod was under $5 also. And just look at this, guys. This is beautiful. Now, the only thing we can do now is taste it. Get one of those mussels. Get a little bit of the cod with the linguine. Guys, this is unbelievable. The mussels, the cod, the linguine, with that pesto sauce, with the wine sauce, and all those flavors infused together to bring out something very, very delicious. If you are a seafood lover, this is a dish I implore you to try. Sauteed mussels and cod in a pesto broth over linguine over top. This is unbelievable and delicious, guys. Really hope you try it. That's all the time we have today, guys. Tune in next time. I don't know what I'm gonna make. Give me some suggestions. Let me know what you want me to make, and I'll make it, guys. But right now, I'm going back into this cod, mussel, and linguine It's unbelievable. What's Cooking, Neighbor? I'm Don Smith. Join me every week where we try something extraordinary and different, where I'll take your taste buds on a culinary journey.